which is most likely going to be Lulu, unless N-Rated wants to throw us a curveball. Hell, he ran support Galio last year. He's played some oddball picks.
True.
And let's see what SK decide to lock in. They have to get either a mid or top lane. Kassadin is somewhat flex.
Oh, wow.
We're not expecting that against Gnar. Let me just quickly throw this out. During the playtest last year before Gnar was released, I actually beat Wicked with Kennen against Gnar on the PBE build version. So that's a little bit of bragging rights. I'm expecting it in Freddy's hands.
Yeah, we haven't seen a lot of Kennen here, but definitely expecting it to be in the top lane for SK and have a bit of a lane bull into the Gnar here. Let's see what Freddy can do. And this lock-in, Syndra into Kassadin, is actually a matchup that Power People likes. And I want to see if he at level 1 takes his W instead of his Q, because there's now lower damage on the Q after the changes here in 5.1. The W does more damage at rank 1, and you can use it, grab the minion, bait out the shield from the Kassadin, and then you throw it at him and you actually win the trade one-on-one there. So we're going to have to see if he wants to do it. But all in all for Unicorns of Love here, you have the Glaven,
The
combo.
Gnarvin, yeah, that
Glaven
works.
combo would work, not the Glav win combo. And obviously you have now the late game scaling of the Jinx with the mid game power of a Syndra. So Unicorns have a bit of everything here.
Yeah, despite the fact that Syndra's laning phase is weakened, it did not stop Power of Evil to get a 14 KDA when he ran it last week, I believe it was. You've still got a lot of squishy targets on the side of SK, so Syndra's ultimate is still going to be able to burst them down. I think the potential is very exciting for Unicorns of Love. Their composition is a little more standard to what we're seeing.
Yeah.
And it's up to SK to make use of this Blitzcrank Cannon combo. AoE, 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 that's the story of their team comp as far as I can see.
We're going to get once again see again the 1-3-1 from SK coming in. Kassadin one lane, Kennen of course sitting in the one-on-one against 9, the other one. And then you have N-Rated roaming around on the Blitzcrank here trying to create the picks. So
there are the team comps on your screens. It is of course SK Gaming taking on the Unicorns of Love. I'm particularly excited to see our first cannon of 2015 in the European Spring Split. It was one of my first mains as well. And we'll see how this performs. We know that Gnar does particularly well against bruisers and sometimes can struggle against some of the ranged harass of other top laners.
Yeah.
Let's see if Freddy can actually find that one-on-one lane. We are on the Rift for Game 4 here in Week 2.
I want to see Freddy as well starting Doran's Blade here, just so he has more lane pressure early on with his auto attacks. He will be going AP though, I would expect at least from his cannon. Later on, just starting the Doran's Blade. Trying to shut down Visicharchi. We could see Unicorns of Love go straight for lane swap, and they are actually moving into the jungle of SK Gaming here. Lane swap on that cannon, he's easy to dive, deny him some farm if you can, and avoid that one-on-one matchup where he can be a bit of a bully.
So we'll keep our eyes on how the lane's set up. Unicorns for the time being, going for those deep wards, grouped up as 5. Somewhat standard starts really in this day and age. We do see that Graves Blitzcrank combo. If anybody gets hooked, i.e. a Jinx with little to no escapes, that is a lot of burst damage that can come down very quickly.
Yeah, but if SK do fall behind, suddenly the Blitzcrank doesn't really have too many targets to aim for. Jarvan and Gnar standing in the front line. It's not exactly who you want to pull in. And Vardax and Power of Evil with the long range will be staying very far back, making it hard for N-Rated to make a play. So it's going to really rely on how SK Gaming can play the early game, and if N-Rated can actually start roaming on Blitzcrank. Because the thing is, normally when you play Blitzcrank, it's a lot about getting deep wards down and like spotting where the enemy team is moving around so you can hook them from a blind spot and they have no time to react. But SK Gaming obviously doesn't play around that.
I really like the fact you bring that up. Yesterday, N-Rated had a great interview with me discussing their vision and said, well, if you don't have those deep wards, what benefit is it going to be? We do see that Power of Evil has started with his W, as anticipated, and let's see how he plays it out. We've seen Invade, though, onto the Gromp. Svenskeren in trouble. Hellestang and Tashi, they force the flash.
But that little trade we got to see in the mid lane is how Power of Evil will play with the W at rank 1. He takes the minion, and then he forces the Kassadin to fight a Q in his face, so that obviously the magic shield pops, but it only lasts for a second, and he just waits. Shield is gone. Then he throws the minion onto the Kassadin from Syndra here and actually wins out on the trade at level 1. But he will still be maxing his Q. Needs to get that fully stacked anyway for his passive.
So we'll keep our eyes on that mid lane matchup. Power of Evil, one of the most prolific Syndra players here in Europe. and he's already demonstrated his abilities on the big stage. We do see the lane swap actually came down. It was Unicorns of Love that initiated it after getting the vision and obviously having Hylissang with the help of Chachi to invade. Remember that they bullied out Svenskeren and got his flash early.
Yeah, but due to that invade, Freddy actually picked up a lot of farm in the lane, and Freddy's one of the top laners who will always, even before the changes to experience here where it was longer range you could get it from, he would always go straight to his lane in a 1v2 and try and get some farm for himself. And it's actually worked for him, seeing as we had the invade onto Svenskeren. So 10 CS already level 2, close to level 3 for Freddy early on.
So a decent start here for one of the energy-based champions that we don't see a whole lot. Takes a lot of poke from Vardags. A little more than he was anticipating. Still got that TP if he needs it. Put an early point in that lightning rush to get away from the poke. So let's see what Enrated can do. Trying to set himself up. There's no escape in PoE without his flash.
Yeah, and same start for Enrated and SK Gaming in lane swaps. Graves, or Forgiven, will push the wave. He will try and take down the tower as fast as possible. Enrated will recall early on, get a pink ward, go straight to the mid lane and place it, so they have some more information around their mid lane, and then he goes back and he starts again pushing in the tower. They don't care about denying any farm or CS from Visichachi. They just care about taking the tower as early as possible, swap back to the top lane, and then Freddy can go down to the bottom lane instead and hold it, and then you have a tower advantage through the lane swap.
So, it's very clear, Deficio, you've got a grasp on how SK Gaming plays these lane swaps. Let's see if Unicorns of Love understand the same and whether or not they can play around it. First rocket grab from Enrated goes a little wide. We do see Svenskeren moving towards the bottom lane. Example of his vision. Let's see how he decides to play this out. Kikis is helping out bottom as well.
Yeah, and with the long range here and the safety on a cannon, Freddy's just standing 1v2 and he's not getting denied anything up in this lane. And SK really like to have these good lane swapping top lanes. When they play a Gnar, they go and get a camp at level 1 for Freddy, so he gets instant level 2. And now though, taking a bit of damage.
Oh, manages
Chompers
to get
bit
away from the flame chompers. Anton does get clicked by Vardag, so once Freddy is against the two opponents of the Unicorns of Love, he does get bullied out, but he's doing a good job nonetheless, keeping himself relevant. We did see on the bottom, Forgiven's pushed the wave up. Blitzcrank not going to be the greatest at taking an early tower, as SK traditionally likes to do. Not as good as Lulu, that's for sure. And we need to see how quickly SK can secure the objective and then start moving around the map. Svenskeren already setting up some tunnels, and Kik is trying to deny them.
Unicorns of Love should have seen enough from SK Gaming in the past week to know that Enrated always places a pink ward in the mid lane. Could actually gone in with the Syndra Jarvan combination, which of course is going to be stronger here early on than the Kassadin if we do have a small fight between the junglers and mid laners, and cleared that pink ward, denied that information and vision from SK Gaming, but they actually haven't. And just as we talk about it, Kikis walks straight in there and kills it.
So got there eventually. Svenskeren gonna tunnel, gonna get the knock up onto Vardag. Svenskeren, or rather Freddy's gonna get the stun down. Vardag splashes away. Gonna throw the zap out, but it's not enough. Freddy continues to auto-attack. That's a flash for first blood. In the mid lane, Fox is under trouble, down to below 100 HP. Kikis, he flashes over, does not get the lance, and that means Fox gets away. So, first blood to Freddy in the top lane. Hylissang caught napping, trying to set something up elsewhere on the map.
Yeah, Vardax is pushing up all alone there, not respecting the fact that Rek'Sai can tunnel over pretty much all the walls on the map. And just a very easy first spot for Freddy on that cannon. Wow, people really still like Unicorns of Love.
That is very, very impressive. This is one of the first times that a challenger team that's qualified for the LCS has actually gained the public, public popular opinion in this shorter time, beating out both Gambit and SK in terms of who they think will win. Of course, their comp is a little more standard as well. Keep that in mind. The question is based off of seeing a Cannon in the top lane and Enrated playing Blitzcrank. It's not a champion we see him on all too often. And SK picked up first blood, so already going against what the voters said. Enrated, fortunately not having the best grabs. Hylissang, in reply, not having the best grabs. And Chachi and Forgiven just farming away.
So Unicorns of Love tried to reply to the fast push here from SK by sending Hylissang down and actually
Enrated gets hopped on Gnar backwards. Enrated in trouble, got that power fist charged. Ends up flashing away to safety. Also gets the summoner heal of Forgiven. So summoner spell advantage heavily in favor of Unicorns of Love that trade.
Yeah, nice little setup by Visichachi. getting the Mega Knight. Still, they're trying just to defend the tower. They won't really be able to hold it off. Forgiven should be able to get in and actually kill it and then swap to the top side if he wants to go for the next one, because Vardax is falling very, very far behind, dying, of course, beforehand, staying alone in the lane and not been able to deny Freddy. So once again, SK Gaming winning out on these lane swaps.
Well, earned themselves a small gold lead. We'll see how it works out. And rated caught by the death sentence and Flay. 2 turret shots and some good poke. So decent setup there from Hylissang. Forgiven yet to back. Keep that in mind. 80 CS. It's a lot of money to be sitting on. Close to 2,600 gold. His opposite number, Vardax, already with that pickaxe. So a little bit of a difficult situation. Chachi is going to have the supportive kickers. The slide, the glide, the dunk. Freddy's got the slicing maelstrom. He stunned up both members of the Unicorns of Love. Chachi flashes in. He's going to be able to keep getting pushed back. Freddy doing a good job. That's a flash knockup. Svenskeren saves him.
The Rek'Sai ulti from downtime coming. Oh, the rocket is flying through the mid lane and it's not going to hit anyone.
No, we got a little excited. Decent attempt. But Freddy survives and gets away with an assist.
Yeah, no Mega Knight for Chachi here, and Kikis had used everything he had. Freddy just staying alive, waiting for Svenskeren then to come. And again, one of the reasons Rek'Sai is such a strong pick. This global ulti here you can use as long as you have a tunnel, as you can see at the minimap, around the top side and around the bottom side. You can go between these side lanes very easily and get the counter gank off here from SK.
Yeah, it was something that you mentioned yesterday when we got to see the first European Rek'Sai, how important it is to get that defensive tunnel placements across the map. Now, Enrated set up some good wards to get eyes on this blue sentinel. Going to have the support of half the SK team. Rocket Grab is not going to connect, so Hylissang gets away. Now, there is a ward on this blue buff. SK considering a challenge, actually. The pink ward out Dragon. Now, this is a little risky, although there's no teleport for Chachi, so Unicorns of Love not looking like they're going to engage.
Same kind of power play from SK where Freddy moves from the top lane once he went back to base, and then he moves straight to the Dragon. He saves the teleport for right now when he's going to teleport back to the lane because the wave has been built up by Chachi. This is exactly the same play from SK we've seen in all the games they play. Freddy will never, or at least not very often, teleport to a Dragon. He's going to run there and teleport back to his lane once they've picked it up.
So, Deficio, I want to ask you about SK's play in a moment. Let's see if Svenskeren is in any sort of trouble. Hylissang's going to move forward, and it's very, very clear that you know every decision SK is making, from the prediction to lane swaps, how they manage it, how they push towers, etc. If you can see it that clearly, there's a series of questions. Why can Unicorns of Love not see it? Also, what should they be doing in this scenario? They appear to be grouping in mid lane. Got a numbers advantage. It's not the greatest of wave clear from SK, but let's see if anyone can get hooked by a rocket grab. The answer is no.
I don't think the response from Unicorns of Love is too bad. It's just been individual mistakes, honestly. Vardax dying, then the gank onto Freddy here ended up going wrong for the Unicorns of Love, so they have fallen behind. But all in all, I mean, you have to, again, you have to know what's going to happen. When Forgiven is in a lane swap, people push the wave. You know it's going to happen, so you send down your support, and you make sure that you can pick up farm, defend your own tower, and therefore you delay SK from doing these early pushes. That could be an option for you. But obviously, it's so much easier for us to sit here and say it when we can see everything compared to the teams when you're actually playing. You might know what's going to happen, but then we see the mistakes coming in where you don't get a kill onto Freddy or Vardax overextends and suddenly you fall behind and now you're on the back foot.
Let's see if Unicorns of Love can play on the back foot. They definitely impressed yesterday against the Giants. They're off to a more difficult start this time round. Forgiven with a very large CS advantage over Vardax. Got an entire BF sword in addition to his damage. Freddy sitting on those sorcerer shoes, working his way towards an hourglass. Fox very nearly getting his Rod of Ages, so nothing really to speak of as far as itemization is concerned.
No, just going back to your point beforehand, the only thing I probably would have changed for Unicorns of Love was instead of allowing Freddy to have a bit of a free lane. Oh,
Chachi's got minions in a tower. He's pulled Freddy back. Slicing Maelstrom up though, and we'll see if this works out. Not only is Sven here Enrated, is trying to make this gank work even better. Footsteps, going to reveal the position of Chachi. He's got no flash available, nor does he have a Mega Knight. Look at those steps, those little pings. 3 members of Unicorns of Love. They've caught Svenskeren, they've dunked him, they've hooked him, they've pulled him backwards. That's a Death Sentence. Is going to land the kill onto Svenskeren before Rocket Grab replies onto the man who sentenced Sven to death. Hylissang and Sven go down 1 for 1.
Yeah, now Unicorns of Love have to recall. Freddy is staying. You want to push down this tower here. But again, in that lane swap, Rocket honestly should have gone very aggressive on Freddy, dived him in. He's playing a cannon. You know the Blitzcrank. Oh, Fox is not dead.
No, he's not. Manages to get away from that Super Mega Death Rocket. However, decent attempt from Power of Evil and Vardag's. Top tower goes down. SK Gaming extend the gold lead. 3,000 in the advantage. And talking about farm, Power of Evil has got a significant amount higher than Fox. That lane matchup you were talking about, how Power of Evil's super confident into it, definitely working out.
It's the problem for him that the rest of the team hasn't been able to keep up with SK. Forgiven is far ahead, and the same goes for Freddy compared to the lane counterparts. And again, because if you don't dive the cannon in the lane swap, knowing that the Blitzcrank is going to be on the bottom side of the map because SK always fast push it, so he can't be there to assist him, but then you allow Freddy just to pick up all the farm. It happened yesterday as well. You have to dive Freddy, send up your jungler, have your support, have your AD carry, kill him in this lane swap, take the tower, trade to tower top lane for the bottom lane one, and then you actually come out ahead, or even at least in the lane swap with SK Gaming.
Fisher, I think you'd make a good coach. We'll see how much trouble these guys are in. And Rated gets hooked up, Fox has taken some poke, and a bit of a comedy of errors as everything else goes way wide. Nobody caught out. Unicorns have got the numbers advantage. They've even pulled Chachi down from the top lane. They're going to secure their first tower of the game. Closing that gold gap ever so slightly. Still in favor of SK Gaming. SK, of course, also got that first dragon. Keep in mind, SK's dragon control over the course of their last 3 games has also been simply exquisite. They're getting dragons earlier and more frequently than any of the other European LCS teams. 2 of the games have actually got, all 3 games actually have gone all the way to that 5th dragon. However, they didn't need it in 2 of their 3 previous wins.
SK Gaming is so good at getting the right pick just before dragon or whatever objective is actually spawning, and then they go straight down and take it. And again, they use the minions here. Notice how Freddy in the top lane is pushing very aggressively right now because he knows he's going to be needed for this dragon. So he can actually start recalling once he pushes the wave, walk down to dragon, save his teleport if he wants to. Wow, did he just miss the blue buff?
No, the blue buff moved. The blue buff dodged it. The blue buff dodged it. So Hilisan gets knocked up. Fox jumps in. Box goes down. Fox is stunned. He's caught by the death sentence. He's knocked up by Kikis. The slam dunk cataclysm throws Fox into the ground. Unicorns of Love grab another kill. They should secure their blue buff as well. It does go to Kikis.
Dragon's still not alive here, so just trying to get their mid tower. Clear the minions at least, and everyone actually knows how people got the blue buff. These grabs here from and Rated.
Yeah, that's right. Kikis actually stole it from getting the kill onto Fox. So Freddy's continued to push after losing the mid laner. Hasn't opted to recall and head for that dragon yet. 15 seconds.
Still has time.
Keeping Chachi actually fairly low down. This is one of the things you talk about with Nah. There's a few matchups that he struggles against somewhat, and a lot of them are those ranged poke, ranged harass type.
There's the recall. Let's see if he walks straight down to the dragon after. He should be able to complete an hourglass.
Yes, he does. There's that hourglass.
Now he's moving to dragon. Oh, it's almost like we've seen it before.
Oh, really? I had no idea that was coming to Fisher. Let's see what Unicorns of Love can do. They've got a little bit of vision, but if you look at all of the wards around the dragon pit, Unicorns are now starting to clear out SK. So advantage to the Unicorns of Love. They need to press and they need to be very careful with those Blitzcrank hooks. Look at Fox shoving up the bottom wave. There are minions in the top wave pushing against Unicorn's top tower, and Power of Evil has rushed to DFG. So if anyone's close enough, they're going to get burst down very, very hard.
Chachi is adapting to it though. He knows now the lane is pushing for him because he just cleared a few of the minions, and he's actually walking down to the dragon himself. So he's not using the teleport this time around, and therefore doing the exact same thing Freddy did. So we're going to have a straight up 5 versus 5 here around this dragon.
Let's see how quickly Chachi can charge up his Mega Nah. Svenskeren throwing out those Prey Seekers. Very, very long range on them. Look, Fox again, still in the bottom lane. SK are split up. I've never been a massive fan of these pincer movements. Let's see if SK can make it work. Kikis has gone in. Instant flash away from Enrated. Unicorns of Love remain grouped up. Freddy's caught them. Slicing Maelstrom in the middle of the team. He's got the hourglass down. They've got Vardags. The damage is down. They follow up with Hilisan. The hop, the skip, the pounce. Chachi's jumped in. He's knocked up. He's down. SK Gaming trade 1 for 3, and they've got control of the Dragon Pit.
Absolutely fantastic flank here by SK Gaming. Straight onto Vardags. He dies instantly, even flashed into the wall here. And once he's gone, well, SK Gaming can just roll over Unicorns of Love here. That was a very, very nice setup, especially by Freddy flashing in. He had the hourglass completed, and tower as well for SK.
So Dragon secured, Tower secured. They continue to grow that gold lead even further. Freddy's even had the audacity to push the bottom wave to that inner turret. And I noticed during the fight, Power of Evil didn't even get to use his DFG. Convincing team fight win. There's a replay.
So again, SK Gaming coming from 3 different angles onto Unicorns of Love here. Bardak's first target, nothing he can do. Power of Evil forced out of the fight instantly as well. And now it's just cleanup time. I mean, Forgiven completely untouched the entire fight long. And SK Gaming, you take the right fight here again. Notice the wards around. It's all about Unicorns of Love here, but it doesn't matter. SK, they know exactly when to go in. They look for the right engage, they get it, take tower, take mid lane, and a big goal lead.
And it's actually so easy to mess that engage up. Very, very often you see those sort of pincer 2-3 angle fights being initiated, and the team that is grouped up is able to focus a target down quickly enough. But Kennen, of course, with that hourglass, with that slicing maelstrom, able to get away. Fox put a lot of poke down into Hellesang, and Rated holds on to his rocket grab. Doesn't need it this time round. And SK with a very, very well executed team fight. You see that Randians have been picked up for Svenskeren. A lot of defensive stats against everyone except PoE. Be a bit careful. And Freddy again, split pushing.
Yeah, again, he's going to do this all game long. We said it in Champs League how Visichachi can duel him one-on-one. So Freddy's going to have all the control in their top lane. Now all about his team actually using it to ward the jungle and get a pick on Kikis.
They catch Kikis, he instantly flashes away. Death Sentence connects with Enrated, but nobody from Unicorns wants to initiate on that one. We'll carry on talking about the split push because I think SK and Freddy, one of the only teams that is actually, continuing the split push. We're seeing the majority of other teams just favoring the heavy engage over and over and over. Let's see if Forgiven's going to get caught out. No!
Oh.
Baited! Forgiven knew about that. This cool as ice and just slides over the wall.
Slides over the wall. Notice how Freddy also is keeping his stealth totem here, so he wants to have that ward at all time. When he's split pushing, it's going to be the only ward he's going to place in that jungle most likely, unless Enrated is there with him. But for now, same old SK Gaming, same style. They have the 2 dragons to 0. You have tower advantage. A lot of farm on Freddy, a lot of farm on Forgiven, like always. Falling behind the mid lane, but it's not really too big of a problem for SK.
It really isn't, and you somewhat expect it. Syndra into Kassadin, even though Kassadin traditionally does well against AP mages. Power of Evil, one of the few Syndra players that can really bully the weaknesses of Kassadin. And that CS difference proves it. The thing is, Power of Evil hasn't been able to convert that laning advantage into a team fight advantage because Unicorns have just been collapsed on more frequently than they've been able to look for opportunities against SK.
And keep in mind the Jinx as well need more time to scale up here before Unicorns of Love really feel like Bardax can make a difference in the fight. So for now, it's all about Power of Evil and trying to start the fight with Kikis and Vishichachi going in, locking down a target that Power of Evil can actually kill. Going for this top lane now.
I don't think there's anything SK can do.
No.
They're arriving too late. Unicorns are going to get the tower before SK can respond. And look at Fox. He's miles and miles away. He's not going to stop the team fight. Freddy goes in, slicing Maelstrom's out. The Cataclysm actually ended up helping SK Gaming. Look at the background, the collateral damage. Multi-man knocker from Svenskeren. We do see Freddy's been taken out in the fight as Vardags is in full retreat. Here comes Forgiven all the way from Greece, looking for Vardags. Boomerang goes out from Chachi, not going to be enough. Svenskeren. Oh, here's Fox. Better late than never, he gets one. Chachi manages to avoid the rocket grab, but SK are not giving up. Fox is going to rift walk. Actually, he's going to flash forward for that one. Enrated, can you get the power fist? That's the question. Knock up the dinosaur, and the dinosaur is down. Another great team fight for SK.
And that started as a 4v5 Unicorns. Went on to Freddy, popped his ulti, popped out last again, bought enough time. They cast it in all the way from the bottom lane. Starts roaming before the fight starts. Joins in with his team, picks up a few more kills. And SK, let's just see it again. So they go on to Freddy actually. They go on to Svenskeren, then jumping Freddy. Pops his ulti, pop the hourglass, and now gets buying time. Look at Kassadin in the mid lane. He's coming to the top lane. All this damage here from Freddy before, and Svenskeren comes in, obviously Forgiven on the Graves, and now it's just cleanup time for SK.
The amount of zone control that slicing Maelstrom from Freddy offered was really, really impressive. Unicorns of Love did not want to engage into that cannon ulti, and of course the traditional Jarvan I'm helping, also even preventing them getting past that hourglass. So well thought out, this cannon pick working wonders for Freddy and SK. Finally Chachi goes down after the extended chase.
Cannon's always been really, really strong in these mid-game fights. When there's not enough magic resist on the side of the enemy team, your ulti is just ripping through them. So for now, it's really paying off for SK again. You have so much mid-game damage through the Graves, Rek'Sai, and the Cannon, and for the late game, you have now a Kassadin coming in. So unless Unicorns of Love can actually hold off, waiting for Vardax to get to a late game point where he can become relevant, then they might be able to take a fight, but it's going to be so hard because the flanking potential of SK is insane, and you always have to respect the Blitzcrank as well.
Well, if Unicorns of Love were taking notes from the Roccat game, maybe they can figure out how to dig deep, push the game to late. Kickers looking for another engage. Nothing being presented at the moment. Once again, look at Fox. He's a day and a half hike away.
It's always the 1-3-1 from SK. Make sure you get farm on your soul laners at all time. Leave Forgiven in the mid lane. And then you just start reacting to what the enemy team is doing before they even realize you're actually moving up there and being ready to fight. They think they have an advantage, they don't, because you're already moving in as 5.
Fox was 40 CS down from Power of Evil. That has dropped to around 20. SK have grouped up in the middle. The Unicorns are pushing top. Let's see who's going to get the advantage. 3 towers to 2 thus far. We see SK Gaming pushing the inner turret. Look at the top. Freddy's trying to hold off 5. He's been gnawed against the wall. 5 members of Unicorns of Love. They're pushing to the inhibitor turret. Fuzzy Chachi's recalling. 4 members of SK Gaming are pushing. Collateral damage used from Forgiven to clear the wave. Inhibitor's going to go down for SK. Is Chachi going to try to defend this? What are Unicorns doing? Unicorns are opting. They're indecisive. SK are sticking around. Look, Fox is starting to recall before finally SK back off. And this game is now blown wide open. Top inhibitor down for SK, mid inhibitor down for Unicorns of Love.
Yeah, that was a good trade by Unicorns of Love. They got a kill, they got an inhibitor as well. Despite being so far behind in gold, this Dragon, however, will go to SK. Third one for them, 0 for the Unicorns.
Now we need to see who's going to play this map better. Yes, there is still a significant lead for SK. Ordering 7,000 gold, 3 dragons as well. But there are super minions pushing both teams. And seeing the way SK has pushed the side lanes and played that sort of 1-3-1 game, you have to feel strategically they're going to be more comfortable playing around super minions than the Unicorns of Love, who have not necessarily had that same level of map play.
No, but we have to keep in mind, sitting in the mid lane is always a lot easier playing those super minions, because obviously you can just move to either the side lanes if you need to. So Freddy should be the guy going dealing with the super minions later on, as he has the teleport. And also we see Unicorns of Love here, knowing the top lane's going to push straight for the bottom side. SK moving down, all 5 guys.
So, Slicing Maelstrom not available for a few more seconds. Freddy gets caught out, he's knocked up. Here comes the hop from Chachi. Cataclysm gets put out. We do see the Super Mega Death Rocket going out. It's not going to kill anyone yet. Unicorns of Love still looking for the fight. Kickers is in trouble. Here comes Svenskeren and Queen's Wrath spinning around. Freddy's the first one down as Vardax continues to put the damage out. Zap goes wide. Svenskeren's knocked against the wall. Unicorns of Love are clawing back the fight. 3 kills and a tower. SK cannot defend this inner turret either.
No, and this time around here, SK didn't manage to get every single one down to the bottom lane before the fight really started here. Freddy went down, super minions are pushing on the top side. Forgiven has to go back and clear them.
There's 2 super minions pushing up. We did see a rift walk there just to get away from Hylissang's death sentence. Unicorns of Love were 8,000 gold down. They stuck through that base race scenario, get an inhibitor, and now find themselves 3,500 gold down, closing that gold difference by 8. And very importantly, now pushing SK into the complete defensive.
Yeah, very surprising. SK wanted to take that trade with the 2 inhibitors, despite them being so far ahead. They didn't have to. They could have just stayed bottom lane and actually defended. Held off the Unicorns. But for now, we see SK finally actually being challenged by the Unicorns of Love.
Super, super interesting twist of events. That 5-man stack from Unicorns, well-timed. And of course, SK opting to go for the aggressive play. I mean, both teams choosing to go in, which is what allowed them to get those exposed inhibitors. So all the damage to the Nexus turret will very, very slowly regenerate. There's no margin for error. And I think you're right, Fisher. This is the first time that SK has actually even been pushed this far into their base. Their 3 previous wins are very, very one-sided. The Unicorns, if there were a team to challenge the top, Cyanide said maybe, I like the new Lemon Dogs. But they've got to win this to actually claim that title.
Yeah, I really like the engage from Kickers beforehand in the bottom lane. Knowing that N-Raider was running from mid lane, knowing someone was coming from base from SK, they knew, okay, they're not 5 yet, let's go for it. Last time we got burned because we stayed around, we took too much damage from Freddy, but this time they just locked him in and actually stayed away from him, killed him once he came out of the Hourglass, and suddenly they could win the team fight. So So Unicorns of Love here, again, staying as a group, because for them, it's all about these 5 versus 5 here. For SK, it's about flanking around with the cannon, flanking around with the Kassadin, if you want to try and kill Vardax or Power People in these fights here.
And of course, Vardax, not a massive amount of sustain to speak of. He's got that Phantom Dance and Infinity Edge. Forgiven on the other side, Infinity Edge plus Bloodthirster. If Vardax is given any amount of time, he's going to potentially shred through HP bars, but he needs some Armor Pen to get through all that Armor Sphin Scare and stacked up.
Yeah, Last Whisper will be, or should be, the next item for him, followed by a BT. And now obviously Superman is pushing in, forcing Unicorns to go back and clear them. 3 Dragons still for SK to 0, so we have that Time Bomb that Unicorns of Love have to worry about. They can't give up the next one, because they will be forced into fighting in a bad position suddenly.
Well, let's see how SK decide to play around that Dragon and whether or not Unicorns are actually going to look to challenge. Because truthfully, Unicorns have been out of position and bullied away for the 3 previous Dragons. It's been complete controlled by SK. Unicorns have got 2 minutes to try set up. And look at all the vision on Baron. We could have a trade scenario potentially in play.
Yeah, so the thing is, again, for SK, normally when they take a Baron, it's because they've just won a team fight and then they rush into Baron, so they don't have to set up all these pink wards here beforehand, because they're never going to have enough green wards to completely ward up the enemy jungle and actually bait out a Baron and force people to face check you. They're never going to have enough because they don't buy them. So they have to get kills if they want to take the Baron, and we see Unicorns just walk straight in, clear them pink wards, no real threat, not even sure why SK placed them just to back away. That's like 200 gold wasted.
Well, you don't need wards when you've got brains. That's what Enrated was saying yesterday. 114 on that Blitzcrank. One magical hook can be the game changer at this time, especially with an exposed inhibitor. Dragon's up in a minute. No vision around Dragon for SK Gaming. Pretty deep wards for Unicorns of Love, actually. If you look at SK's red side jungle, let's see if Unicorns can make use of that information. Enrated, not going to try the Rocket Grab Steal. It didn't work out last time. Not needed this time either, and Power People will secure that. So, tense stuff as Dragon's getting closer to spawn.
Yeah, and Forgiven again on Graves. He did the same yesterday, going for this build where he just wanted to do as much damage as possible on his spells. Buckshot, of course, and his ulti, where he's just going for heavy AD, and obviously you get some armor penetration now from the Ghost Blade, and it's all about these 6 seconds now where you got that extra attack speed from the Ghost Blade. That's what he needs to make real use of if he wants to be a big force in the fights, which he has been already.
0 deaths to his name across 4 games. A combined 38 KDA. Unicorns of Love could take that little badge, saying I killed Forgiven first in 2015, but they need to get the fight.
They're pinging the Baron
up
here.
for Dragon.
They want SK to go for the Dragon and instantly just rush over to the Baron here, knowing that SK is very far away and there's no wards on the Baron either from them. They're going for it, but SK should be able to react in time. They're running straight from the Dragon.
Vardax has got a lot of damage. Baron's not going down quickly enough. Power of Evil trying to run interference. Let's see if he can hold them back for long enough. Baron down to 50. Fox trying to chase. Baron continues to tick away. It's down to 30% HP. SK are in place. They pulled out Chachi. Chachi's thrown and rated against the wall. The first victim will be Hillisang, as we do see Baron was secured by SK Gaming. They've stolen Baron. They've taken down 3 members of the Unicorns of Love, and the Unicorns Gambit has not paid off. SK get both objectives and the team fight.
Yeah, completely backfired here by Unicorns of Love. Visichachi trying to execute himself. Or is SK just going to dance around? Doesn't even matter, because SK got the Baron, they got the kills, they got the 4th Dragon. Next one, of course, is going to be the big one for them. And Rated landed a hook.
Didn't even need his ulti. Did not even need the static field.
Such
just
an
a
aggressive
passive
play, though, by Unicorns of Love.
They didn't have the damage. Yes, they had a lot of DPS on Vardax, but that Baron took far too long and SK ran all the way.
So you can always wonder here, was it the right call to have Power of Evil sitting in the mid lane trying to bait that, hey, we're not on Baron, we're just sitting and farming back in our lanes and trying to like hold SK off at least for a few seconds? Or had he been there, would he have been able to do enough damage to actually take it down beforehand and not allowing SK to come in and just clean up everything?
I'm going to theorize that that Baron was around 2,000 HP
Yes.
before SK got in. I think Power of Evil with this many items
He would
have secured it.
For sure. If he had been there with the team, they would actually have gotten it before the fight. But still, SK coming in, they got the 4th Dragon already. And when you have a cannon and the enemy team is stuck in the Baron pit, it's very easy for you to go in and just destroy everyone. Obviously, all the damage from the Graves and Kassadin as well. And SK, they keep punishing every mistake you make.
Unicorns of Love put themselves in a corner where Freddy's Slicing Maelstrom could hit everybody, and he did. Flame Chompers is going to dissuade Svenskeren's Rek'Sai from going any further. The damage is done. Baron, 4 dragons, the inhibitor, and nearly 10,000 gold. Unicorns, they clawed back, but it just wasn't enough. Again, hindsight is 20/20, I guess.
Of course.
They'll have to live and learn from the amount of control they've given up.
Yeah. Whole plan was, of course, for Power Weaver to buy time. SK didn't go for it. Or could buy it and just went straight for the Baron itself. Now let's see, the push is going on here. You have super minions in the mid lane. You have the Baron buff minions in the bottom side. Cannon minion, of course, doing some work. And one hook from Enrated and someone dies.
Well, same could theoretically be said from Hillisang. If he gets a squishy, let's see which support cat they've got. Chachi's knocked up before he can hop away. But the Lantern manages to work. Both of us proven wrong. Now Fox is caught. Fox is going to Rift Walk potentially. Hourglass is up. Flame Chompers, they do keep him down. They stop him against the wall. It's not going to be enough. They do manage to grab Chachi the second time round. They've traded mid laner for top. Super minions are pushing towards those Nexus turrets though, and SK still have Baron empowered minions. SK get the inhibitor turret. They're onto their second inhibitor turret in the last few minutes, and Unicorns of Love in a desperate situation.
2 inhibitors gone here. SK Gaming looking to go 4-0. Just wait for the next dragon to spawn, pick it up and go for the finish here. I mean, top lane is the only thing missing for them.
As is always the case in the European
sprint
split. Middle first, bottom next, followed by top. SK have got control. And you know what? If you actually step back and think about this game as a whole, barring the decision to trade inhibitors, SK's been in complete control.
Yeah.
And even that inhibitor trade is still probably the best case scenario for both teams. The way they had positioned. So truthfully, SK, despite being, you know, in a risky position, they were still in control. They were dictating the tempo of the game, and they punished Unicorn's Baron attempt as well as they could.
They were dictating it because Unicorns of Love didn't want to try and actually punish them. When you keep your support with your dual lane or with your AD carry in a lane swap, it opens up for your top laner to be killed every time, and yet Freddy's left untouched, and he's been ahead of Visichachi all game long. He got a very early hourglass, which he should never been able to get for the very first team fight, remember, where he went in, killed Vardax, won the fight for SK as well, and even stayed alive. Let's see, SK going for the last turret here. Still 1 minute on the last dragon as well. If they get 3 inhibitors down and get the dragon,
well, it's looking to be that way, Deficio. Fox once again pushing a different lane. SK showing that you can still play the lane game to win. Death Sentence connects on Enrated. Is it Hook City? No, because the rocket grab is not fired. Svenskeren continues to poke, seeking out prey. He's caught Kickers. He's knocked up Kickers, but Kickers flags and drags to safety. Look at Forgiven. Got that hourglass, rather, the Ghostblade active already used. Yeah, no minions left in the top lane.
Even more attack damage for Forgiven here. He just wants all the burst for when Enrated lands the hook. He has all the burst in the world to kill them.
Vardax taken out by Fox. Kickers hooked once again. Flashes this time round. Collateral damage is out, and Chachi's about to go Mega Gnaw. Is it going to be enough? Forgiven gets tagged by that laser just a little bit, but remember, there's no ADC for Unicorns of Love. Fox soloed him. Flash, Freddy's against the wall. Hourglass is up, but there's no Slicing Maelstrom yet. Freddy's in trouble. We do see him going aggressive nonetheless. Power of Evil in the background is going to get taken out, as is Freddy. Enrated being burned down by that laser. Kickers will be the next victim from the Unicorns of Love, and Fox is moving forward. That's Svenskeren with the knock-up, and Forgiven continues to pad his stats, continues to get assists on the board. SK Gaming are on the Nexus turrets. They've taken down the Unicorns of Love in 37 minutes. Another decisive win. SK stay at the top of the table with Fnatic at 4-0.
And Forgiven still hasn't died. The guy just refused to die. This game is not over yet, actually. And there we go, next gone down.
We needed to hear one more Rek'Sai squeal. SK Gaming at 37 minutes. Dominating the Unicorns of Love. It's just great. Their map play, their decision making, timing of engages. You know, I gave them a lot of praise in the pregame. and they've yet again lived up to it. 4 games in a row.
Very true.
Forgiven, still unkilled. He was 31 KDA coming into this game, plus 12. He's now 42 or 43 KDA. When is this man going to die?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, as long as teams don't really do anything to try and punish SK Gaming, he won't die because they can keep doing this. They keep making the right calls, take the right team fights. Yes, okay, we talked about how trading inhibitors weren't really in favor of SK, but apart from that, I mean, everything else was just in their favor. Unicorns tried a risky play at the Baron. They really sealed the deal of this game here, where SK picked that one up and just got so far ahead.
Before the game started, we heard from Vizichachi about how important Gnar is to him and his team. We know how popular it is. Hell, Freddy's used it himself. How long has Freddy and SK been sitting on this Kennen strategy? And also, what does this do to every other team in the league? If you see that SK are not going to first pick a Gnar, and you want to play Gnar, are you going to be able to beat Kennen? That's the question that they're going to plant in every other team's mind.
It won't do anything, because you're going to lane swap again, and you're going to kill the Kennen in the lane swap. You're not going to let him just sit and free farm all game long, so he gets so far ahead of your Gnar that you